familiar faces, which is awesome. Welcome back, those of you joining us again, and welcome to anyone new joining us. This is the AIMM user group run by Katarina and Judith and hosted by Bina. We just wanted to share some, I'm Vanessa, the Bina Program Administrator. I always forget to introduce myself. Hello. We have a number of events coming up. We have a scientific speaker series celebrating Black History Month, which is kicking off next week, Tuesday. Very exciting set of 4 presentations each week, every Tuesday in February. And then we have the Bina Career Series is going to have a presentation from Brian Millis in February. So if you want to know more about his career, he's on many Bina working groups and works at Vanderbilt doing a lot of building and construction of microscopes. So that'll be on the 21st. Next is just a calendar view of all of that. So today we're here at the AIMM user group. If you're interested in expansion or lattice light sheet, those events are also happening next week. And then we have our exchange of experience at the last Wednesday of every month as well. This is something new we're doing this year too, but we really wanted to just give a big thank you to our platinum sponsors. So AVR has been sponsoring us since 2021, and we're very thankful for their support. We also just had another sponsorship from Miltenny, so they will be added to this slide very shortly, and we're thankful for their support as well. Hopefully many of you got our newsletter sharing the sponsors who are renewing with us this year, and we're very, very pleased to have their continued support. I mentioned most of our events going on, but this is just another flyer. If you happen to be in a core facility, we do have a resources page where we have a flyer about all of our activities going on. If you want to share that with any of your colleagues, try and make that a little bit easier through that. And with that, I will hand it over to Judith and Katarina. Thank you all so much, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Vanessa. So, hi, I'm Judith, and since I'm based in Canada, it's important for me to start with a brief land acknowledgement. So I just want to say that I respectfully recognize and acknowledge the relationship that the First Nation, Inuit and Métis people across Canada have with the land that all Canadians live on and enjoy. I recognize human rights of people who have suffered from systemic racism and discrimination in Canada, and I seek to provide a welcoming, engaging, and safe community for everyone. Thank you. Back to you, Katarina.
All I want to do is introduce Stephanie, and she is a very passionate advocate for data management and everything related to that. And she is, in particular, she's a professor at the University of Düsseldorf. She's the head of the Center for Advanced Imaging. She's the chair of German Bioimaging, and she's the principal investigator of 2 very important funded projects that have been very much at the center of funding a lot of different people. Some of them are here today to carry on the work that a lot of us wants to, as a community, we want to carry forward. So she is an incredible contributor to everything we want to do, and leader. And so we really are very honored to have her present her work to AIMM. Welcome.
Welcome.
That's it.
Okay, so I start sharing. Thanks a lot, Katarina, for this super nice introduction, and thanks for inviting me. And I'm really looking forward to share the experience we made in our community with all of you. And so let's have a look to my slides. Okay. So I hope you can see my slides, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, as mentioned by Katarina, so I have quite some hats on, I realized. But today I will focus a little bit on my perspective as head of a core facility. So that's really my core business still. So I'm head of the core facility, Center for Advanced Imaging at Heinrich-Heine University in Düsseldorf. And today I will talk about the RDM for MIG group that has been established in Germany a few years ago. and then the i3D bio project, which has been the first outcome of the very successful work of this working group. And this is all embedded in the journey to fair microscopy data. And that's, I mean, also your motivation, why are you here today, and what we really want to establish as the global community, I think. Okay, so let's see how it works. So what's my personal motivation for fair microscopy data? So of course, I was a PhD student already doing microscopy, and back then I realized that's really hard to manage imaging data. Yeah, you know, you have to have your specific softwares because of the proprietary file formats and everything. And it gets even worse when you are now head of an imaging core facility, because then you are responsible not only for one microscope, but maybe for, in our case, it's 14 microscopes. Here you see a selection of the different light microscope systems. Of course, we also offer electron microscopy, and our users are acquiring thousands of image data. And what you also know, if you work in a core facility, that most of the images just disappear. If you are lucky, they disappear in local information infrastructures that maybe you have established, like in our case. So what we can offer to our users is a file store, which is available via the network. And this is really mandatory now for people to share, to save their imaging data. But what is the situation for those kind of image data, which ended up in this file store, is that, yeah, you see it here. This is the file format which is provided by Leica. There is not really a preview available, and the data is not really searchable. And yeah, that is the end of almost all the data, I have to say. Maybe 90%, or I don't know what you would say, what is the number, but it's in this range, I would say. So metadata, even worse. So, you know, I showed this many times. Metadata is sometimes stored in this funny spaces. However, in most of the experiments, people are aware that they need to store some experimental data, so they go to hardcover lab notebooks, for example. At least something is available. Okay. A few of these beautiful images, and images are super, super rich data, are in the end published. That's nice. And a few of those images, which will be published, end up in this very nice covers of the journals. And I need now my laser pointer here. Okay, let's try. And but what happens to all the other images? So let's see. Okay. Oh. I will switch that off again, because it seems that then I cannot use the mouse anymore. So, but what about the rest? What about fair data? And maybe fair is really the term you have heard a lot. So findable, accessible, interoperable.
Is it me or is it Stephanie?
Question is, sorry?
I think we lost you for a little bit.
Oh, sorry. But I'm back now? Fine?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. So the big question is how to make image data fair. So from here, yeah, this cartoon impressively shows how
Might have lost her again.
core facility, of course. And for this, we can have a look to the fair bioimage workflow. So what are the to-dos you have to fulfill? First of all, you need this information infrastructures. And then you would love to have user-friendly tools for metadata annotation, yeah? How to align with what you have in your electronic lab notebook, for example. Then you would need a comprehensive set of metadata. For example, you can look to the RMBI metadata, so recommendations that had been made already by the bioimaging community for how to annotate metadata. Of course, what you have to do in your local IT infrastructure is you have to really request to integrate any tools you want to establish for image data management. You have to work on the integration with other data management systems, of course. And then, of course, and that's an interesting question, especially, for example, for Omero, how to import and export data and how to operate this if you have your data in a management system. Then, of course, if you look to the users, which come to your imaging core facility, they would need a lot of guidance and training. And of course, there must be some accessibility of services. For example, if you want to offer something like artificial intelligence-based methods for analysis. Then, of course, if it comes to publication, you today want to upload your imaging data to public repositories. And that depends a lot on what kind of metadata should be annotated, and a lot also on data file formats. And Josh is here today, so he really can, he's an expert, and he can, of course, much more better explain the details about those problems. And in general, you need a lot of training and education to show the benefits. So data management is not an end in itself. So it's really to improve research, which is focusing on imaging data. And of course, and that's what we do today, international networking is needed because we really need this alignment with the community, that we all together develop the standards we need. So a lot of to-dos we have, and it's not only me having this kind of to-dos, but it's us as the imaging scientist community. And yeah, we realized that, especially with the crowd of German bioimaging. So in Germany, so I look at it as a subunit. So I'm a scientist, and I think of how can we make this, how can we approach this problem that we have, the big challenge. And one subunit is Germany here, German bioimaging. And if we maybe come together and do something, that could be a way really to make image data more fair, to make them available for more analysis, for sharing, and for reusing. But of course, I'm aware, and that's why I'm here today, that everybody, so the whole community, is aware of that. And I took this here from the global bioimaging team, from their website. You might realize that we are not listed there because Germany is not part of bioimaging. That's a different story. However, of course, we are all working together on the problem. Okay, so the big question is how to make image data fair. But the second question is, of course, or maybe the first question when we come to the people, who makes the image data fair? And I have to say that mainly we, as the heads of imaging core facilities, are those people who start this. And you all know that this comes on top. This comes on top of managing your instruments, of really doing the core job, which is providing access to sophisticated microscopy equipment, and to be part of the research projects, and to push this kind of imaging things forward. And the image data management really comes on top of that. So what we want to have in the end is really that we want people who does nothing other than make image data fair. So this would be great if you have in your core facility people who really can focus on only taking care of fair image data management. And this is really what we realized with the German network there, and where we started to work on. And of course, we were not the first ones. So let's have a look to the overall timeline of things going on. And of course, we have to look back to the OME team around the awesome work of Jason Svetlow. And of course, Josh was involved from the very beginning on, and the whole OME team there in Dundee, when they started the OME project, Open Microscopy Environment. And came up with Omero. So I was a postdoc when I became interested in Omero for the first time. That was back in 2009. And at that time, we established a local Omero instance for the first time. That time back, it was really hard to work with Omero, I have to say. And we had already then a very specific data type, imaging data combined with information on fluorescence lifetimes, anisotropies, and all these multimodal data stuff you can imagine, quite hard. But then there was, of course, a very nice development, and it all depended on funding. So, of course, you start without funding in most cases. You get interested in the topic, and then you try to organize funding. And Jason had a lot of funding for all these Omero stuff and for the IDR, image data research, which is hosted at MBI. And so what we did in Germany then back in 2017, we said, okay, we are all focusing on Omero now to manage our imaging data. Let's come together and let's exchange the experience we have, also depending on the local structures we have in Germany here, and maybe we can put things a little bit more forward if we team up here as one group. And this is how we built the ADM for MIG group, which was in the very beginning something like a German Omero user group. Okay, and that was in the beginning a team of people. It was Susanne Kunis, Astrid Schaus, Peter Zentis. Josh was always part of this because he is living in Germany. Karen Bernhard from Osnabrück as well, Thomas Sobel, and all of these people, and they are still together working on the same topic. Internationally, of course, there was the start of the Bioimage Archive, again at EBI. That's not based on Omero, but a different way to image data, to manage data. And of course, we do collaborate today a lot with Matthew and his team, and it's very good that we have now this endpoint of the image data lifecycle. So we know we could, in the very end, really upload all the things we have to this public repository. So, and then the first very positive outcome of the work of the RDM for MIG group was that we got funding for the i3D Bio project, which is information infrastructure for bioimage data. And now on board, on top, are Roland and Elisa from German Bioimaging. And now we have those people who really can focus on only taking care of image data management. Tobias, Julia, Tom, Christian, Michele, they all work only for image data management. And then together with the National Initiative for Research Data Management, the NFDI, we could, on top of that, establish one consortium within the NFDI infrastructure, which only deals with imaging data, which is now the NFDI for Bioimage, which started almost 10 months ago in March last year. And there we have now people that do not only focus on Omero, but now really take care of everything. That's really a very nice team of data stewards now and software engineers. And now we really have a high capacity to work on improving every step of the workflow of the life cycle I introduced to you. Okay, so how did it start? So we decided to use Omero to make image data fair with the RDM for MIG group. We all came together, and then researchers, we think it's around 5,000 users we all together have in our imaging core facilities. And the subgroup of these imaging core facilities and also microscopy researchers came together in RDM for MIG group. And what is very important is that we are open, of course, also to non-GABI members. So if you're interested in the topic, you can join anytime the RDM for MIG group. And what we do, we really focus on Omero. And we are the people who try to make image data fair as good as we can. and really depending on the capacity we have to also work on this topic next to all the other topics we have in the core facility. So, and what we wanted to achieve was that we really have people who does nothing other than make image data fair, and that came when we got the funding for the ISVD Bio project, Information Infrastructure for Bioimage Data, which started in 2020, and we will have the project for 3 years, and we can apply for another round of funding, what we will do this year in summer. So as I mentioned, the ADM for MIG group is within GERBI, hosted, of course, but it's really open to all. So you are invited to join the next meeting of ADM for MIG. It's, I think, still in hybrid style. And as you can see here from the German Bioimaging website, from the screenshot here, that it's integrated in German Bioimaging and also supported by German Bioimaging, but it's definitely also open to everybody. And this is also a reason why ADM for MIG group has not only a website within the German Bioimaging environment, but is also available on the GitHub, the instance of German Bioimaging. And still, you see here a summary of what the aims are. And it's the same. I think it's a complete overlap what you have in mind with your subgroup. It's really about exchanging the experience you make. The deployment of image data management systems is what we discuss a lot. We promote standards, and I mean, you name it, you know what I'm talking about. So, and if you sum it up, somehow it's people who try to make image data fair, in the end applying for funding for people that do nothing else. Yeah. And with the ISVD Bio, we have been successful to do it. So, and now you know the people that do it, because Christian and Tom gave a presentation in the beginning of December last year. And yeah, I was absolutely impressed by their presentation, I have to say, because it's, of course, now really what we have dreamt of. So what we had been proposed or written down in the proposal is now really becoming reality, because now we have those people who really can concentrate on all these things about learning and teaching about microscopy research data. You have seen that we published a lot of material now, what is available. We help with organizing your microscopy research data. We talk about storing, sharing, archiving, linking with other protocols, and we really invite people to become use cases within the ISVD Bio project, for example, for helping them deploying the Omero in their local environment. Okay, so, and now we go back to my place, to Düsseldorf. Tom is a member of my team, actually, and I'm very happy because it's not only Tom, because we also have now the NFDI for Bioimage consortium running. I have also a data steward, and I have another person, which is Anna. She's 50% also involved in the Omero things, because she does a lot of image analysis. So I'm really now in a very lucky situation that I have 2.5 people who really can focus on promoting image data management. And I have to say that really now in my place, when I look to the image data life cycle, I can say, well, it's not perfect, but for many of those steps, we have really a good solution now. So, okay, there are those user-friendly tools available, and we promote a few of them. We try to establish we try to improve on that a lot. And for example, for the annotation of metadata, now Vanessa, the data steward, is responsible to talk to every user to find the right set of metadata. Integration with the local IT, you can ask Tom, who is really working on that and has established very good connections to our IT department. and also about the integration of other management systems. We have ELAB for the World running as electronic lab notebook in Düsseldorf, and of course we can work on integrating this with the Omero. And of course now we have the capacity for working a little bit on training and giving workshops and all these things, and really trying to establish workflows for Omero and steps for image analysis, also to motivate the people to really put their data into Omero. And we help a lot with submitting images to the public archive, to Bioimage Archive. And as mentioned, a lot of training and education is going on, for example, also in our master courses. So all the students who participate in our master courses get, along with the microscopy training, also training for image data management. And for us, that's really a very good source of feedback, because they are completely naive to this topic and they hear it for the first time. And I have to say, for them, it's super easy to learn it and not to do it in a different way in the future. And that's really, for us, a good motivation to go on with that. Okay, so I'm nearly at the end now already. So my take-home message for you is, even if you don't have funding at the moment, yeah, I would really recommend already to get started with the help of the community. For example, you can approach us from the i3D Bio project. You can look at our material. I mean, you have your colleagues who in the neighborhood maybe who did it. And even if you have this really low capacities, start doing it. It's the time to do it, and you have to do it in the future anyway. And I also we started using Omero in the core facility back in 2016. And of course, not much happened, but a few things happened. And it was growing very slowly over many years. And now, as we have the people, you can imagine that we have now exponential increase in usage, what is very good, but you can start slow. And then, of course, what is definitely needed, team up, share your experience with your colleagues. And of course, you are always invited to join our groups, of course. And what I also recommend a lot is to think of how you can organize environment. For example, in our environment, it's possible if your university is going to apply for funding for this kind of collaborative research centers around one topic, maybe they also have to add a section about data management. And that's might be a possibility to get a little bit of funding for a position in a core facility. That's what we do sometimes. And there are maybe different possibilities, and you really should find out and evaluate what might be possible, because in the end, you really need those people to make real progress on the topic. Okay, so with that, I am already at the end. I want to acknowledge all the different teams who contribute a lot to this topic. It's of course my team at Düsseldorf, the i3D Bio team, NFDI for Bioimage members, the RDM for MIG group, where everything started, at least in our place, German bioimaging community as a whole, of course, the OME team, and also the team of the Bioimage Archive, and all the national and international partners like you. And of course, the funders, which is the DFG. So thank you for your attention.
Great talk, thank you.
Welcome. Not too long, but
no, perfect.
I thought we would have some time then for discussion, questions.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there is anybody that has any questions. If not, I can kick it off. If there is no other compelling, okay. So thank you so much. And I really appreciated your perspective from the core facility manager or director point of view, that there is so many other things that one has to do. And Bina, of course, is very aware of how many hats facility managers have to have and how sometimes overwhelming it feels. So that was really nice. Thank you. Because of, I mean, you guys have been so successful at start and getting funding, and now you were describing, you know, the people that you have, for example, in Düsseldorf. I was wondering if you feel, so you described that you have 2.5 people, and my question was, how many users are you serving, and what if you can start making some advice for how many people are needed for how many users. One of the reasons I'm asking in specifically is because I'm actually in the process of proposing to set up a image data management core and sharing core facility at UMass that would be in addition to the imaging core facility. So that would support the imaging core facility and or any other people that whether or not they're using the core facility or not. And, you know, making, you know, one of the things that we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna have to do is make a case of, you know, how many people would I ideally want to have to support how many people. So to support XYZ number of users. So wondering if you have any sense of that at the moment.
Okay, so I lost you again a little bit in the middle part. It's about something which comes in addition. You want to ask for funding for something in addition to core facility stuff. And so because there was this.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry. I will repeat.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
basically, no problem. We have had a little bit of an issue with the connection, so no problem. So essentially, I am in the process of proposing that we start at UMass an imaging data management and sharing, image data management and sharing core facility that would work on top of all the great core facilities for image acquisition that we have, image acquisition and analysis that we have. That could interface not only with microscopy, but also with other type of imaging. And I have now the ear of the administration. They seem to be, because of the NIH having started policies on, you know, the universities are, including ours, are starting to think that this is going to be an essential train to get on early, rather than try to catch later on. So I was wondering if, because you are now in the position of having funding to support people that just do research data management for imaging, if you are already able to, and you already have 2.5 people working, and you said it's not ideal, but on the other hand, it's very, so I'm wondering if you would be in a position of starting to advise what the ideal ratio RDM practitioner versus user is, so that, you know, if we can, actually, this would be very useful if we could start creating tables like that, so that then people like me that are trying to.
So the facility has roughly 300 users per year, 300 active people coming per year. The number of introductions is, of course, not that high per year, but what we do know is really that anybody who gets introduction to the microscope system gets introduction to Omero. So like we have at the moment 3 people really taking care of the microscopy introductions. And now there is a transition of a little bit of the Omero introduction already comes with the microscopy. And maybe Tom can assist me. I think there was a little bit of knowledge transfer from Tom to other members of the team who do the microscopy introductions. And on top of that, people have the chance to talk to the data steward, Vanessa. So I would say if you have those 3 people who take care of the microscopy stuff, and then you have 2 people who really take care of what comes with the data management, that's already very good. So, and that we did not solve all the problems is not because of those people. They are great, excellent work, what they do, but it's really work in progress. I mean, you know, everybody of us, we don't have all the standards. We don't know how to solve some of the problems. The file format thing, everything is ongoing. But to really, if you have 2 people, this is great. Yeah. And
Great.
as I said, it's 300 people per year, roughly being active. And with that, I would say
it would
that's
be a great, yeah. So that's basically, it's very encouraging because that's something I was thinking of, like very similar to what you were like, a person like Tom and a data steward.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, and
Thank you.
if you want
Any
me
other
to
questions?
comment,
Any other comments or questions? Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
if you want me to comment on that, yeah, we start from the introduction, showing Homero and uploading data right at this point. So I think the strategy we have is insisting at several points to repeat and show where it starts. But yeah, that I have this position, I can give the introduction to Homero, and Vanessa can assist and with annotating and giving all the resources, all the preparation that they can use it from the start. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Judith.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. This is what you and your colleagues have been doing in Germany is very inspiring. And on top of it, you've been sharing it with users like us. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. A new challenge that is coming up on our plate here in Canada deals with how to connect our data with our advanced research computing clusters. And I was wondering if you have have you integrated computing clusters for data analysis in your strategy? Can you comment on that if you have done so?
okay. So this is part of the bigger thing, which is the NFDI for bioimage, right? So this is because it's beyond the local stuff. It's beyond just Homero. And so what we do in practice in the core facility still is that we have local workstations available. Yeah, it's even remotely available for people, where we provide image analysis tools, and they are guided by people like Anna and Tom and also the other team members to do some data analysis. We also have a Hive running, which we could in principle use. Tom is working on that to make it a little bit more available for other people. But in the long run, of course, one part of the NFDI for bioimage task area 4, which deals with image analysis, is on making things available in the cloud. Yeah, storing data or setting up an infrastructure where we could try things out, which is really tailored for imaging data, will be done with our partner at University of Münster. So they are the ones who will provide some computing power for image data analysis, and this will be set up as part of the NFDI for bioimage project. So we are not yet there. I don't know. Christian is maybe wants to comment because he looks a bit like that. Or?
I was looking up a tool in parallel that connects Homero with high performance computing that I learned of recently, but I haven't tried it. It's called BioHomero. It's from the Netherlands community. They're working on it, but I have no practical experience with it yet, so I'm looking it up and can share it in the chat.
Yeah.
It's called what? Sorry, can you repeat what it's called?
BioHomero, but I will find the link in a second.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks. Yes, so that will be the next challenge to consider.
Yeah.
Judy, do you want to explain a little bit the challenge?
Well, yeah. So essentially, in Canada, we have what is called the Digital Research Alliance of Canada. Canada is geographically very large, so almost each province has established a computing clusters, mostly hosted in universities. And these are linked with high-speed connections. The Alliance wants to support research data management, advanced research computing, and research software development with a strong emphasis on open source software. A member of Canada Bioimaging has installed a Numero instance that runs from a virtual machine hosted in an infrastructure in British Columbia, so all the way to the west of the country. Claire Brown and myself, we're located more to the east in the province of Quebec. And now in the province of Quebec at McGill University and another local university, there are computing clusters. So essentially what we want to try to figure out is how to use, for example, the computing clusters here in Montreal, rather on the east side of the country, and instruct the whatever image processing analysis steps that we want to be doing, tell them to go to their virtual machine in the West Coast, grab the data, analyze it, do its thing, and then send the result back into British Columbia. And by default, what I found out, and I was a bit surprised about this, what I found out this week is that by default, the computing clusters have no internet connections, which was totally unexpected for me. But they can make exception for that. And I asked them, can you make an exception? And they replied with a page long of very technical stuff that Homero needs to be doing. So I was just curious to see who else was facing this strategy, because the idea of just at the moment, their very first reply about 2 years ago was to, well, download your data locally, run your thing in the cluster, and then save back your result. And I'm like, well, that's why we have data management systems, so that we do not download stuff locally. So that's a brief description of what we're facing currently. I hope it's clear.
Thank you for sharing that, Natalie.
Yeah, this is to answer Judith, or to propose a solution. I don't know, this is what we used to do at our institute. We had like on-site cluster computing and so forth, but we switched last year. We're still in the process of doing that. Some group have been more successful than others to cloud computing. So I was just wondering if you guys had explored that, because we reached capacity very quickly with her cluster. So that's why the cloud offer this unlimited expansion if you have the money.
Well, thank you, Natalie. I'll still have to explore. I feel a little sad to see the computing powers that we have in our current clusters, and they're not really being used. So
this is basically a Canada-wide thing, and the question is, how do you get all of the different aspects to work together, which is a challenge. So I mean, it sounds like NFDI for bioimaging is going to start thinking about these kind of things, and so we can definitely also Friends Bioimaging is working at that level, at the national level, and so definitely this is something that we will be able to learn from what people are doing, and hopefully move forward also in North America.
So, for example, there will be a hackathon, which is for establishing NFDI for bioimage together with Euro Bioimaging Hackathon to establish image analysis workflows for Galaxy. So Galaxy is a cloud environment in Europe, where we want to provide, of course, also workflows for image analysis, and that's now first step in this direction, actually.
When is that going to be?
It's end of February, beginning of March, right? Christian, it's
I will find a link and
okay.
give me a
I was
second.
trying to check, didn't find it so fast.
Yeah. So there is a real push for Galaxy to integrate. That's really cool, because Galaxy is something that, for example, in bioinformatics, a lot of the university already know. For example, our university already know it. So if that can be integrated, that would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Any other comments or questions? The people are very quiet this time. If not, we can probably finish a little early. And okay, so if there is no more comments, we can definitely finish early. And thank again Stephanie for giving us all of the advantage of her experience. And this was amazing, an amazing talk and very inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Looking forward to the next time. And community works together.
Next session will be April 5. Hope to see you in April. We'll send announcements about that, and we have presentations planned. So we'll send more information soon. Thanks, everyone.